Hello students, myself Ankita Adhikari from Vidyalankar classes. We are here to discuss a few tips regarding your paper writing for CS1 as well as CS2. So first we'll start with CS1. What we'll be discussing in this session is that what is the weightage the questions might have, then what you are expected to write in the paper. At the same time, examples are required, definitions, the requirement of the entire answer as per the board examination. So we'll start with our session. Before we start, we'll just see the difference in the marking scheme in the subject. So as you all are aware that your CS paper is of 100 marks, like CS1 100 marks, CS2 separately 100 marks. These 100 marks are divided into two parts. The first one is the theory, the second is the practical. So you basically appear for 50 marks theory exam and 50 marks practical exam. Now this 50 mark practical exam is again bifurcated into two parts. Like either the teacher might take 20 marks for the journal, she might divide this marks for Viva as well as per the college requirement. And you appear for 30 marks practical examination. Okay, so 20 marks you can say are internal and 30 marks practical examination is conducted in the board exam. Okay, now this 30 marks, like when we are talking about CS1, you will have either C++ or an HTML program or a VB program to be solved in your respective colleges. So we'll start with our chapter 1 of CS1, that is operating systems. So as you can see, these are the key points or key topics which are there in this chapter. So I'll just elaborate you with each topic, what you are expected to write in the paper and how you will be graded for your answer. What are the keywords which are required in your answer? So we start with the first one, that is services of operating system. So you know there are 3 services of your operating system. Now these 3 services can be asked in the board exam for 3 marks. So 1 mark for each service. Now first service if we talk about is say information management. So when I'm correcting the paper, I will always look for keywords, and those keywords in information management are, you can say, the system calls. Now these system calls like information management. So all the data which is there in your computer, how the system is managing. So like creating a file, creating a folder, creating a directory, or you can say deleting a file, deleting a folder, deleting a directory. Such system calls are required. So I would at least expect you to list down 5 to 6 system calls in that answer. Next service you have is process management. So anything that is currently being executed in the system is your process. Okay, so how is that process managed by the system? You have to define that. Along with it, you have the process life cycle as well. So the process life cycle, you will require system calls like revoke a process, create a process, create a child process, create a parent process, then fork a process, okay, resume a process, terminate a process, wait, put the process into a wait state. So these are the system calls I will require, the keywords which I will require while correcting your answer. And the last one is memory management. So as you know, memory management means what? Allocation and deallocation. So these 2 standard basic keywords I will search in the answer while correcting, that whether the child is talking about or writing about allocating a block of memory to a process, and whether the child is writing about deallocating the block of memory to the process. Okay, so all these keywords you have to remember for services. Next, Windows NT and Linux operating system, completely theoretic answer. So might be asked for 3 marks, so you're just expected to brief about that particular topic. What you know, the generations and the history of Windows NT, similarly history of Linux, whether it is a free software or not, all these requirements are required. So explanation, 3 marks. Then hard disk, again, when we talk about hard disk, then hard disk has diagrams as well. So don't forget to draw. See, basically you are expected to write completely, like you cannot write the answer depending on the weightage. Like I have seen students coming across 3 marks, so they write limited answer. Don't do that. You are expected to write everything you know, so that you have the benefit of gaining extra marks. Extra marks means, suppose if you are writing limited points about hard disk, so as a paper checker I was expecting diagrams, you didn't do that, so I might deduct your half a mark, 1 mark. So don't do that. Write everything that is possible for you, because it's a 3 hours exam and only 50 marks paper. So you have ample of time to write every answer sufficiently. So please don't make that mistake. Write everything as per requirement. Then we coming back to hard disk. So hard disk, we have the diagram which will depict the tracks and the sectors. Okay, so show those tracks and sectors in the diagram while defining hard disk. Then the remaining marks will go for your hard disk definition and explanation. Next, we talk about the allocation and access mechanisms you have in that chapter. So allocation mechanisms, you have three: continuous, indexed, and link. So draw diagrams accordingly, explain with examples. So again, it can be asked for 3 marks, 1 mark for each allocation. Similarly, access mechanisms also can be asked for 3 marks, 1 mark for each access mechanism. Okay, so the such questions where, they at times specify very clearly that write 3 advantages, that write 3 characteristics, write 3 features. So they are very specific that they are expecting 3 points from you. So just don't write 3 points and come. Try to write 5 to 6 points. You might make mistakes with spellings, or you might make mistakes with, framing that particular point. So always have some additional load so that it, does not impact your marks. Coming back to the next topic, that is context switching. Now, context switching means what? The process or the processor will start execution of a particular process which was resumed from where it stopped. Okay, so this kind of explanation I am expecting when I'm reading for context switching. Okay, so don't forget that keyword. Again, a theoretic question can be asked along with some other question for 1.5 mark or 3 marks. Then priority and its types. So board exam question, like I have been seeing that it's been asked repeatedly in few years. So priority and types of priority are basically 2: internal, external. That's what important we talk about. So internal priority, when I'm correcting, I will see for a keyword where the child is writing that it is set by the computer system itself, that the processor itself. That is why it is called internal. Okay. And when I'm talking about the next priority, that is external priority. So I will search for the keyword where the child says that it is set by the user. Okay. And if the user does not set, who will set? Then there is always a default priority which is to be set. Okay, which is set by the system itself. So these 3 topics, key points, I would wait for the child. I will see in the answer and then grade that particular answer. So make sure you include these keywords. Again, you have these scheduling philosophies: preemptive, non-preemptive, whether the resources are freed by the processor, whether the resources are not freed by the processor. So again, 3 marks question, 1.5 mark, 1.5 mark can be divided between them. Then memory management, as I said. So remember the services. Do this particular topic very thoroughly when you're studying services, so that when it is asked separately, like any of 3 can be asked separately for 3 marks. So if it is asked separately, you are well aware of what content is to be written. So memory management, of course, you'll have to mention that there is some continuous and non-continuous kind of memory. Then there is a fixed memory, there is a variable memory. Now, when I talk about fixed, you know that once you divide the blocks of memory into size, now that size can be different, or it can be same. Suppose if I say I have 3 memory blocks, I am dividing all 3 of them in 16 KB of size. So, and once I've divided and it is a fixed kind of partitioning, then it will not change. Okay. And if I talk about variable, then in variable, what do? I had a block of memory and I let the processor decide that which process requires how much memory, and then that process will allocate itself, deallocate itself, and so on. So that is again variable, where I'm letting the processor occupy the memory space as per requirement. There again, the concept of fragmentation comes into picture. Don't forget to mention that. And how do you overcome fragmentation? You overcome fragmentation with the help of compaction technique. Okay, so keywords, these remember while studying for this particular topic, that is memory management. Next, we'll already discussed. You have to say that continuous memory is fixed and variable kind of. Then non-continuous memory, of course, paging and segmentation, very, very important. Now, paging, when you're explaining, don't forget to show the diagram where you are showing conversion of the logical and physical address. Okay, and also don't forget the keyword, that is your page map table. You have to show the page map table in that particular diagram. And similarly, when you're explaining segmentation, you have to show the diagram for your segment map table. So I would again see these keywords while correcting the paper. Coming to, so if the paging technique is asked, again, it is asked for 3 marks, or segmentation asked for 3 marks, or 4. See, question number 1 is MCQs. Question number 5 is all about your programs. So the remaining questions, that is 2, 3, and 4, which have A, B, A, B, A, B. Now these questions are only for 3 to 4 marks. The division is only for 3 to 4 marks. So anything asked is always for either 3 marks or 4 marks. And the marks distribution will go like for 1.5, 1.5, or 2, 2, or 1.5. We'll see when we discuss the paper. Okay. So again, virtual memory. Again, a completely theoretic topic. So marks distribution, you can say the definition of virtual memory and where do you locate it and how is virtual memory implemented in your program or in your computer environment. So using the paging technique or swapping technique. So that will be required over there. Now coming to the very important, that is the basics of GUI, graphical user interface. Now when we see the paper, when we are discussing, they ask these graphical user components separately, like for 3 marks. So if they're asking separately, so 1 mark goes for one component. Now, suppose if I tell you that menu bar is asked in the question. So what are you expected to write? You are expected to define what is a menu bar. Now, when you're defining menu bar, please make sure you also draw a diagram which depicts that you know how does a menu bar look like. Okay, so in case you make any mistakes while defining, you overcome it by drawing it. So please make sure you include small icons while you are drawing this, writing this answer for the basics of GUI. Okay, then so all the graphical user interface part, all those menu bar, toolbar, title bar, then your scroll bar you have. Okay, again, you have to mention that you have a horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar. At the same time, the minimize, maximize buttons, I mean, the icons here at the top, close icon for the applications you have. All that you have to mention with the icons, drawing the icons. Okay, then we talk about access and security aspects. So whether it is one-time password which the user is using to secure its account, or the fingerprint or the biometric, mention these points. You have to basically mention that you don't want somebody, some unauthorized person to access your system. So how do you prevent, what measures do you take? So that you have to write in this answer. Again, it might be asked for 3 marks, completely theoretic. Now regarding them, questions can be even asked in the MCQs. Okay. Then computer virus. So here your computer virus, I have seen the question coming for the modes of operation of your virus. Like you have to detect the virus first in the system, then you will have to prevent the virus from entering the system, and of course you'll have to remove the virus if it is being detected into the system. So these 3 points, 3 marks each. I mean 1 mark each, 3 marks question, so 1 mark for each point. So that's regarding the computer virus. In security aspects, don't forget to study about worms as well. Port scanning, denial of services. So don't forget to study about them. So this is the overall view of what topics you will have to study and how the marks distribution can be done for chapter 1. We'll see for chapter 2 as well. So again, very, very important, chapter 2. Now this chapter 2 is data structure, of course, you know. Now data structure has many definitions, like the definition for record, definition for what is a file, then definition for what is data structure, then group items, elementary items, repeat exams, which are conducted by the board, okay, in the month of July or August. That time, these questions I have seen coming across that define what is group item, define what is elementary item. So I will search for the keyword like any item which can be further divided into sub-item. So that's group item. Okay, like your example is your name. Like my name has a first name, middle name, as well as last name. So that's the group item. But when I talk about elementary items say what? Elementary item says items which cannot be further divided. Okay, so I can give you an example of a student's roll number. Now that student's roll number cannot be further divided into anything else. So that's an elementary item. So I will again search for this keyword while I'm correcting the answer, that whether the child is writing that it can be further divided into sub-items. Okay, so all these definitions, records, definition, collection of items, then what is a file, collection of records. Okay, what do you mean by data? What kind of data do we have? Like when I talk about a data in a computer system, it can be in any format. It can be any text, audio, video. So now what I'm saying is if it's recorded, so that's again a data which is being saved in the system. Okay, so all those definitions you have to see. Now again, how will they be asked? So they will be asked under question which is graded for 3 marks or for 4 marks. So they'll ask you questions, sub questions like question 2B or question 2A, first one, and they might ask you define the following, and they can include these definitions for 1 mark each or half mark each. If they ask 6, then it goes for half mark. If they ask 3, then it goes for 1 mark each. Okay. Then we come to control structures. This topic is there even in chapter 3, that is your C++. So don't forget 3 types of standard control structure we have: sequential, selection, and iteration. So don't forget to explain them with diagram, because diagrams do hold half a mark. Okay. So again, if it is asked for 3 marks, then you will say, ma'am, it is for 1 mark each. So how do we bifurcate? So that 1 mark for suppose selection control structure, I will look for the definition which will hold half mark and the diagram which will hold the another half mark. That is how 1 mark is given. So please keep these points in mind while writing the answers for control structures as well. 3 control structures and asked for 3 marks, 1 mark each, and you know now that how do you bifurcate that 1 mark. Next, coming to the pointers and arrays. So when the concept question on arrays is asked, so you are expected to write the definition of what is an array. So I will say continuous memory, blocks of memory, okay, which stores similar kind of data. Now that's my array. Now when I talk about defining the syntax, if the same question is asked from C++ point of view, don't forget that there you'll have to mention the syntax as well as the example. We'll come to that. Okay, so your theoretic, you draw a diagram which indicates that it is an array, and don't forget to show the index numbers. Every block holds an index number. So that index number, you know that it starts from 0. Don't make a mistake of starting it from 1. Okay, you start the block number from 0, and where do you end? Suppose if I say the size of my array is 5. So index number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do you redefine this? That how do you assure that it is 4? That you will subtract 1 from the size of your array. So when you're subtracting 1 from the size of your array, you get the last index number, and that is how you can calculate whether you're going correct. Okay, so keep make sure that you include these diagrammatic representation. Don't forget to show the correct nomenclature, the labelings for that particular diagram. Okay, now pointer array, as I say, what is a pointer array? It is an array which holds the address of a similar or normal array. Don't forget, when you're writing pointer arrays, you have to mention keywords like both the arrays have same data type. Okay, C++, you remember, you cannot define the pointer array with some other data type, and the array which is pointing to, it cannot be of some other data type. So keep that thing in mind. So you know the concept when you're writing. So when you're writing pointer arrays, you always make sure that you write something like this. That is P. You can say your pointer array is P of 0 equal to ampersand A of 0. Okay, so P of 0 equal to ampersand A of 0. So that shows that pointer array 0th location will hold the address of the normal array 0th location. Okay, so ampersand here indicates that it is an address. So this is again, I will see while I'm correcting the paper. Again, if it is a pointer array, so I will search for the asterisk sign somewhere in the answer with the variable or with the definition that indicates that the child knows that what a pointer array is. So keep these small key points in mind. Then again, operations on array, very important. Operations can be asked either insert, delete, traverse, that means searching. So insert, delete, and search, 3 standard operations can be asked in your exam. Now, these insert, delete, search examples, what you are expected. I have seen them asking this question separately for 3 marks. Now, if it is asked for 3 marks, then again, how will you bifurcate? So I'll say 1 or 2 marks for the algorithm. Don't forget to study the algorithms for all 3 of them. So 2 marks for the algorithm, half mark for the definition, and half mark for the example. So that is how the 3 marks are given. So if you read the question, they will ask you write an algorithm to insert an element into the array. This is the question. So don't think that, okay, they have asked the algorithm, so I'll just write the algorithm. Don't make that mistake. Define what is an array. give the algorithm for inserting element into the array, and just take a small example for inserting that element into the array. So that is how you will, don't leave any scope for deduction of your marks. So don't forget that. Same is applied for the rest two operations as well. Okay. So next we come to the two important algorithms, that is bubble sort and binary search. Sorting algorithm, one is binary search. So in bubble sort, of course, define what do you mean by bubble sort, how does it work. Then you give the algorithm of bubble sort, and then you give the example. So again, if it is asked for 4 marks, so 1 mark example, 1 mark definition, and 1 mark, 2 marks for your algorithm. So that is how it can be divided. So again, next we talk about binary search. Now, very, very important in binary search algorithm is that the list has to be sorted. If the list is not sorted, then you cannot implement the binary search algorithm. So always remember, you have to include this word somewhere. This question can be even asked in the MCQs. What kind of list is required for binary search algorithm to operate? So always remember, it is a sorted list which is required, because it works on divide and conquer rule. So if it is working on divide and conquer rule, then the list has to be compulsorily be sorted. Okay. So that's again 3 marks or 4 marks question. So 4 marks, then 1 mark definition, 1 mark example, 2 marks goes for your algorithm. Next, we talk about the record. How do you display a record in your data structure? So you know that at the very first level is the entity which you're talking about, and draw the diagram accordingly. Like first level goes for the entity, attributes of the entity are on second level. In case they are to be subdivided, then they go on the third level, and then the level goes on continuing. So don't forget this difference in the record description. So again, 3 marks question, 1 mark for the definition, 1 mark for the diagram or the example which you will be explaining. Okay, 1 mark for the theory or the example explanation which you write. Then again, representation of record in memory. Again, the definition will hold 1 mark or half mark, 2-3 marks question, and 1 mark for the representation diagram, which shows that how is the record depicted in memory, and half a mark for the example. Next, we talk about linked lists. So I would want to discuss that. Don't forget few key points about linked lists. Don't forget about for mentioning what does a linked list consist of. So it consists of a node. Always remember. And always there is a starting point of the linked list. So don't forget to show the start of your linked list. Don't forget to show the start of your linked list. Okay. Then this node is made up of 2 parts. You know that. First one is your information about the node. Okay. Or the data which is stored in the node. And second is the next pointer. Now this next is basically the pointer to the next similar node. So I have this pointer going to the next node. Okay. And then again, I might have one more pointer going to the next node. Now, where will the linked list stop? How will I know that this is the end of my linked list? So remember the keyword null, or put a cross sign, or you can show. So always write null, which indicates that this particular linked list is now, you can say it has ended. Now that's the last node. So if I ask you that how many nodes are there in this particular linked list, so there are 3 nodes. That's my node number 1, that's node number 2, and node number 3. So that's the information part. This holds the information about the node. Okay, the data in the node. This holds the address of the next node, or pointer to the address of the next node. So these keywords you have to keep in mind while writing the answer for linked list. Don't forget to draw the diagram. Very much important while explaining linked list, diagrammatic representation. Okay. So that was about your linked list. Then we come to the tree definition. So again, you have many definitions while you're discussing about tree. That is, you have defined what is a root, child, left child, right child, then what is a parent node, then what is a level, then what are siblings. So these definitions are very important. It can be asked as sub questions for 1 mark each or half of mark each. So don't forget to study them. Types of trees, that is expression tree, extended tree. So you have to do them as well. So I'll just take you to one example. Now, this is an expression binary tree. They will ask you such questions. It can be separately asked for 3 marks or 4 marks. Okay, so they will always expect you to construct a binary tree for that. So we start with, you remember that while expression tree, the operators are always the internal nodes, and the operands on which they are operating, they are always the external nodes. So I start with my is equal to sign. Okay, then I have Z on the left side. When I come on the right side, I have a multiplication sign. Okay, and then with this multiplication sign, again, I have the left and the right nodes. So I go on the left side first, and in the left side, again, you will see I have a division sign. Okay, so on the division's right, I have E. On the left, I have a plus sign, which indicates A plus B. So I've evaluated half of the expression here. So that's Z equal to A plus B divided by E into, now into what? Come to the other side. Here again you have the division sign. On the right you have F. And here you again have plus C and D. So that's your diagrammatic representation. Now, of course, you're getting good marks for this, but not full marks. Why? Because you haven't yet mentioned the level of each node. So always make sure that you mention the level of each node. Now that's the level. Always start with 0. It's level 0, level 1. This is level 2. That's level 3. And that's level 4. Okay, so don't forget to mention these levels in the diagram as well. Okay, so now you know how to construct a binary tree, expression binary tree. What are the requirements? Don't forget to correctly identify the left and the right child of the node, and don't forget to mention the levels which are there in the node. Okay, so going back, so that's about the tree. Now we next talk about stack and queue. Now stack and queue structure, what all is required? You define stack, you define queue, then you have to show the diagrammatic representation of a stack with the labeling, that is where the top of stack is. Okay, and don't forget the keyword, like whatever you insert in the stack, first is the last one to come out. So it is first in, last out. Such keywords I will look into the answer while correcting the paper. Then then you have to mention the operations of which you perform on the stack. That's your push and pop operations. So push and pop operations, very, very important. Draw diagrams, and just try to explain with the help of the diagram how that operation is performed on a stack. So while pushing an element into the stack and removing or popping an element from the stack, try doing that. Okay. Then, of course, you have a few conditions you will check on the stack. Whether my stack is empty, is full, whether the stack is full, then overflow, underflow condition come into picture when we talk about this. Okay, so these keywords I'm telling you. Then you will check whether the stack is full or not. So again, you will check, then you will check the size of your stack. What's the actual size of my stack? So all these operations you have to, like functions of the stack, you have to keep in mind. So that is expected for 3 marks or 4 marks if asked. And suppose if stack and queue both are asked for 3 marks, then 1.5 mark, 1.5 mark will be divided. Then again, the same as with queue. So now in queue, what happens is whatever goes in first also comes out first. So it means it is open from both the ends. Okay, the queue is open from both the ends. So you have to again make sure you write this point while explaining about queue. Also, don't forget to mention the operations, that is NQ used to insert elements, DQ used to remove elements. So don't forget to mention these keywords. Again, queue also has few functions, operations. So whether the queue is empty, whether the queue is full, what's the count of the elements which is there in the queue. So you also have to keep that in mind. So again, it can be asked for 3 marks or 4 marks. If asked for 4 marks, everything will hold 1 mark. If asked for 3 marks, then definition 1 mark or half mark, then half mark operations, half mark example or diagrammatic example. Okay, so that's all you can overview about data structure. Next, we talk about C++. Now, very, very important because this chapter holds 10 marks separately when it comes into the question number 5. That is your programming. So first, you start with the features of C++. Don't forget characteristics, that is encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, okay, inheritance. So don't forget to explain or see, they'll be very specific if they are expecting you to write something. And if they don't, then you know that whatever all subtopics you know about that particular question, so you have to write all. So features, of course, of C++, all the definitions, as I said, they can ask you why it is an object-oriented programming, define class, define an object, what is a function. These basic standard 11th questions can be asked. Then we talk about constructor, destructor. Now, when I'm talking about constructor and destructor, if it is a 3 marks question, then 1.5 mark for constructor, 1.5 mark for destructor. Now you will say, ma'am, what am I expected to write in that 1.5 mark? Then for that 1.5 mark, half mark goes for the definition. Okay, half mark goes for the syntax which you write that depicts that it is a constructor, and half mark goes for the example. So don't say that, ma'am, for half mark such lengthy things. Yes, of course, if you want marks, you'll have to give that much input into the paper. Okay, same is for destructor. So half mark for the definition, half mark can be given for the syntax, and half mark for the you can say example. They might change it to 1 mark for the definition, half mark for the syntax, and half mark for this example, depending on the number of question. That means if it is 4 marks, the 2 marks will be divided like that. Okay, so that's constructor, destructor. Don't forget to show the negation or the tilde sign when we talk about destructor. That is where we look for that the child knows that how a destructor is called. So don't forget to do that. Next, we talk about virtual functions. Now, virtual function has its own rules. So they can ask you virtual function rules for 3 marks. So explain any, write any 6 rules. If they're specific, then they will ask you to write any 3 rules for virtual functions. Okay, then you have to, of course, tell them what is a virtual function used for. Then function and operator overloading. As you know, function overloading means 2 functions having similar names but different parameters. So again, if it is asked for 4 marks separately, so I can say 1 mark will go for the definition, 1 mark can go for the syntax, and 2 marks can go for the example as well. If it is asked for 3 marks, so then 1 mark definition, 1 mark example, syntax, 1 mark example. So that can be bifurcated. Okay. Again, operator overloading when you are talking about. So operator overloading means what? You use an operator as the function, and then accordingly you call them into the main. So again, I will see for any function which is used, unary operators, or you can use unary operators for operator overloading. Again, friend function. Why do I call this function as a friend function? So that question you can be asked, that what is a friend function? So you have to tell that it allows to use the private and protected members or methods of that class. So don't forget that keyword when writing for friend function. Implicit and explicit type of conversion. Automatic is the keyword I will look for. Implicit is automatic conversion. Explicit conversion means a conversion which is done by the user manually. You have a syntax of doing that. So you must have done that in your theory. So any MCQs also can be asked from these points. Now we come to the next question topic, that is class and object. Now for classes and objects, you can have questions based on define a class and write the syntax for creating a class or declaring a class, or write as same is for objects, that is define what is an object. Remember the definition. An object is the instance of a class. I will look for this definition when I'm correcting the paper. Okay, so object-based theory questions. So again, as I said, you write the definitions for that particular object, then you write down the syntax. They can be very specific with the question that define object or what is an object, and how will you declare an object or call an object class using an object. Okay, so all those questions can be asked based on classes and object. Don't forget inheritance. Very small topic when it comes to the features of C++, but it is comparatively very vast when you talk about if asked separately. So the paper which we'll discuss now, that paper has the question on inheritance. They have just shown the diagrams, and you have to identify which inheritance it is. So you have 5 types: hybrid, hierarchical, multiple, multi-level, and single. Explain them with diagrams, don't forget. Coming to polymorphism and its types, again, define what is polymorphism. Polymorphism means having many types. So function overloading, operator overloading, you can define them. Then calling a particular function by its value and calling a particular function by its reference. So here the concept of pointer comes into picture when I talk about reference. Here the concept of call by value. You simply mention the value in the parameters of the calling function and it is called accordingly. So on this you can have one question which can come on MCQ, that which is called by value. They can frame it. So don't forget the basic definitions on the value, calling a function by its value and by its reference. Again, file stream operations, you have input file stream, output file stream, file buffer. Okay, then you have multiple sub functions which you have in the file stream operations. So don't forget to include them while you're writing the answer. They can ask you separately. In the paper we'll discuss, they have asked separately that explain what is if file, if input file stream, what is output file stream. So one mark definition. Okay. You also have string operations in C++. That is string concatenation, then string comparison, okay, finding the length of the string. So even these can be string-based questions which can be asked. So again, programs on C++. So what kind of programs can be asked? Standard 11th, all that you have done in standard 11, creating patterns, finding GCD, even odd. But now the twist and turn comes with is they'll ask you to create functions. Okay, they'll ask you to create classes. They'll ask you to define it using objects. So all these are just the simple. If you know the implementation of functions, if you know how a class is created, if you know how a function is created, if you know how a object's created, so then you will be able to implement that particular program. So all standard 11th programs, please make sure you know them thoroughly. Class-based, as I said, they will ask you that find a GCD of a number and create a class and create so-and-so function, print, named, say print, create a function named delete or whatever. So that is up to them. So keep that thing in mind. Again, string based, as I said, they can ask you questions on string operations, that you either create a string and define a string, then you concatenate two strings, then you compare two strings, then you return the length of a string which is already mentioned. So these topics, please make sure you know. Then function based, as I said, they will tell you to create so and so function in so and so program. We cannot predict the program, but as I said, that you have standard 12 programs based on constructor, destructor, virtual function, friend function, then bubble sort, binary search. So make sure you're updated with all of them. Okay, so that's the entire requirement of your C++. Next, we come to the last chapter, that's HTML. Now, when I talk about HTML, very vast in picture, but very compact when I talk about the topics. So HTML structure, what's the HTML structure, 3 marks question. So I will look for 1 mark definition, or rather the full form of HTML. Then I can give 1 mark or half mark definition. 1.5 mark I will give to the structure which you draw. That is the body, start with the HTML tag, then the head tag, title tag, the structure which you draw. That holds marks. Don't think that that's a diagram. I'm not supposed to write that. Don't do that mistake. You require to do that. Write it. Then you just take one sample example of that structure. So that overall gives you 3 marks. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages, it is a repeat exam question, advantages and disadvantages. So if it is, they have specified, write any 3 advantages of HTML. So 1 mark will hold each. If they have mentioned, write any 3 advantages and disadvantages, so half mark each. So 1.5 mark for advantage, 1.5 mark for disadvantage, and combine to 3. Okay. Now, how do you write the theory for the tags? You have many tags in HTML. So how do you write the theory for those tags? Now, for these tags, you are required to first define. Then you're required to write the syntax. How do you write the tag? And then finally give an example, very small example you can give. So I'll take an example of, say, your P tag. That is your paragraph tag. So you start that P tag stands for paragraph. Then आपके पास mark Q tag भी है जो scrolling text देता है website पे. ठीक है? So you have to, I will search for the keyword, like the examiner who's correcting the paper will search for the keyword, like okay, whether the child knows that it gives scrolling text on the screen. Okay, so please make sure you remember these keywords. Then PRE tag. Pre tag we say, that's pre-formatted tag. So SUP, superscript, SUB, subscript. So these keywords the examiner looks for while correcting the paper. So don't forget that I will simply write the definition and leave it. You have to define with these keywords, the full form of that tag. Okay. Syntax, you have to show the opening and closing. All tags don't have opening, closing. Keep that thing in mind. There are few tags which don't have. Then we talk about the HR tag. That is horizontal rule tag. So I will look for the keyword horizontal rule tag, this keyword, while I'm correcting the paper or the examiner who's correcting your paper. So please keep these small tips in mind so that when you're writing the answer, it has more productivity. And that of course will help you to gain your marks. So all the tags which are there, including your table tags, TD, TR, TH. So table data, table row, table heading. So don't forget to show their, you can say opening, closing in the syntax. Take one single example to explain all of them. Now, when I talk about table tags, I will also talk about your cell padding, cell spacing, call span, and row span. So they focus whether the child, if especially question number 5, if they ask you to create a table, so they will check whether the child knows how to merge columns, how to merge rows. So make sure you're using these attributes like call span, row span, then cell padding, cell spacing for merging. Okay. Again, they can be even asked as the part of your MCQs. So that's it. Then we come to the list tags. You know there are two types of list tags in HTML. That is ordered list, 1, 2, 3, 4. Unordered, you can use bullets for that. Okay. Ordered list has a sub tag, that is a LI tag. That's a list tag. So if LI tag is asked in the paper to explain, so you will not recall what does LI tag stands for, because you are so focused to know that OL tag, UL tag. So don't do that. Always remember OL ordered list, UL unordered list. LI gives the actual list in that particular order or unordered. So that stands for list tag. So don't forget to mention that as well. So again, these can be a part of your theory as well as your MCQs. Now we'll see, I have a sample paper. So basic instruction I would like to give you is when you're attempting the first question, that is rewrite the select and correct the correct alternative and rewrite the sentence. But what do we expect when we are correcting the papers? Write the correct option, write the correct answer. If you're not rewriting, write the correct option, write the correct answer. That is what we expect. Few students I have seen, they just write the correct answer or they just write the correct option. No, it becomes difficult for us to grade you. So don't do that mistake. You always write the correct option and write the correct answer. That holds 1 mark for each MCQ. Okay, so we'll go to the theory part. So we start with question 2A. Now it says attempt any two. Now here the question is define data structure, explain 4 operations of data structure. So we already discussed that you define a data structure, then insert, delete, search, traverse, okay, sort. These are few operations you will perform on your data structure. So again, 3 marks question, 1 mark for the definition, and they have told you 4, right? So half mark they can give you for half of mark they can give you for each operation. Then 3 distinct differences. Now, can you see that they are asking very specifically that you're giving a difference comparison, but only 3 comparisons required. So 3 comparisons are required. Then, of course, there is no doubt that 1 comparison will hold 1 mark. Then see the question comes here. Write an algorithm to insert an element. I told you it comes for 3 marks. So what you are expected? Half mark definition, then 1.5 mark for the algorithm, half mark goes for your, 2 marks for your algorithm and half mark goes for your linear array insert element example. Okay, so that is how the 3 marks are divided. Next, we come to question 2B. Define the following terms they have told. So what is external priority? What is internal priority? I told you the internal set by the system, external set by the user. If not, then system has a special default priority which it will give. So don't forget these keywords. Purchase priority means it has to be purchased by the user. Time slice means what? Every process has a time given for execution. So such keywords you'll have to use while writing the answer. So it's a 4 marks question. So 1 mark for each definition. Again, you have, they have asked you to declare statements, like they have written a statement and you have to write the syntax for that statement. Like how will you create an array for 10 real numbers? So you have to define, how do you define arrays? Like you write the data type, then you write the name of the array and the size of the array. Now in the size, since it says real numbers, then and the number is 10. So accordingly, you have to define the size. Okay. Then how an object of a class student is created. So first you'll have to show that a class student is created. Just show the syntax for that. And then object means what? Instance of that class. So object can be user defined, no? Anything can be used as an object name. So suppose if I say O1, so I will write O1 dot the class name. Okay, so that is how the object can be created. So again, that's these 4 questions, sub questions are asked for 4 marks, 1 mark each. Now, then we come to question number 3. Question number 3A says that define the following, explain the following tags. So that's BR tag, that's the break line tag. So again, you'll have to mention this break line with the syntax and an example. Then see, PRE tag is asked. So PRE stands for pre-formatted tag. So again, you are expected to write the example and define and the syntax as well. Then U tag, remember bold, italics, underline. So U stands for underline tag. So when I'm correcting the paper or your examiner is correcting the paper, we expect that you tell us what that U tag stands for. Okay, so don't forget to write that. So 1 mark each, 3 marks question. Then they ask what is a function of information management. See, information management is asked. This is a 2024 year paper. Okay, and list any 4 system calls in it. So system calls we already discussed at the start of the session, that information management, so create a directory, create a file, read a file, read and write a directory, or read and write a file, etc. So these system calls you have to keep in mind. Now, next question is, what is a constructor? Write 4 rules for constructor. So definition, again 3 marks question, right? So again, a definition will hold 1 mark, 2 marks left. So 4 characteristics, 4 rules are asked. So half mark each. So that's how the marks distribution will be done. Then see here in the question, that is question 3B, they have asked you to construct a binary tree. Okay, so this binary tree has to be constructed, and they have given you the expression, we just solved one. Don't forget to correctly show the left and the right child. Don't forget to show the levels of each node. If you don't show levels, your marks are deducted. Okay, then explain in short 4 ways by which system security can be attacked. So you have to show that how the system becomes vulnerable to according to the environment. Okay, so again a theory question, 4 ways they are asking for 4 marks. So very obvious, 1 mark each. Okay, coming to question number 4. Question number 4, very first question, what is class? And define the general form of class declaration. I just told you that you define a class, what is a class, and they will ask you that write the declaration. So definition can hold 1 mark, the declaration part can hold 2 marks, or the definition can hold 2 marks, declaration part can hold 1 mark. This marks distribution keeps on varying, okay, every year, like depends on them how to grade you. But I'm just telling you the general things which are implemented. Then what is partitioning? And again, fixed and variable partitioning we discussed. Draw diagrams for fixed and variable, try to explain. See, it is a theory paper. So don't be very rigid with only limited statements. As how much ever you know about the topic, try to elaborate it so that you don't leave any scope for the examiner to deduct your marks. Okay, so use diagrams for showing what you understand with the word fixed partitioning and variable partitioning. Then we come to question C of 4A. Write the function of each of the following 5 stream classes. Now, of course, if stream they have asked you, off stream and file buffer. We just discussed that. They can ask you them defining. If stream means input file stream, off stream means output file stream. So you have to write the definition about what these tasks do. Then we come to question number 4B. So you can see they have asked what is inheritance for 4 marks. So 1 mark will take the definition that what is inheritance. And the next 4 marks, rather the next 3 marks, they are divided into telling what kind of inheritance this is. This is your single inheritance, then you have multi-level, then you have multiple. So that is how you have to categorize. So you just draw the diagram, write what kind of inheritance is and explain in 1 line. Don't say that, ma'am, they have not asked for the explanation. There is no harm in doing anything extra, okay? Because that extra what you do over there will hold a major advantage will be of a major advantage for you when your paper is being corrected. Okay, first always write as per the expectations, what is asked in the question. Then if you feel that okay, this can be added, then you add that particular point. Last is they ask about virtual memory. Define what is virtual memory, again 1 mark question. And they have asked to explain terms like page fault and dirty page, which we come across while explaining paging. Okay, so if that is the page is not available and it is still requested, generates a page fault. So again, it holds 1 mark each. So that's how 2 marks for what is virtual memory and 1 mark for what is page fault and dirty page. So that is how the theory questions can be asked. So we finish with the theory questions. Now I'll just quickly discuss the question number 5. See, questions like greatest common divisor, very simple question asked, standard 11th based. Okay, then accept 10 integers in an array and find the largest. Again, you must have done this in standard 11, so it is repeatedly asked now, you can say. Then they have given you an HTML code. So regarding HTML, I will tell you one thing. They can either write a code and expect you to, you can say, draw the output for that code. Or they will give you the output on the screen, on the paper, sorry, and they will expect you to write the code accordingly. So this is the output given. So you're expected. So again, you see there's a table, then col span, row span is used, your cell padding, cell spacing is used. You don't forget to include them. Then of course, TD, TD, TR, TH, your common table tags. Don't forget to style your table. Okay. So that's question 5. And you also have OR. So you either attempt 5, first 3, any 2 from first 3, or you attempt any 2 from the next 3. So here again, they have asked program on C++, create a class. They've asked you to create a class. Name is test and it has functions. See, so I told you class-based programs can be asked, function-based programs can be asked. So you have to create functions like get marks and show sum. So these, they have also given you the name of the functions. You just create them and show that. So when I'm correcting question number 5, I'll see whether the child has, abhi arrays ki baat karenge. If we talk about arrays, then I will always see whether the child has used for loop, whether the child has used, because it is about array. So if the child is taking input from the user, so it will require for loop. If the child is, you can say, traversing the array, then of course it will require for loop. So I will check whether the for loop is used or not. So these basic tips you can keep in mind. Again, next program, read 3 integers and find the smallest in them. So very basic program they've asked again. Next, you will see again the output is given of the HTML code. That means it shows it is an ordered and unordered list. So it is basically a nested list, which has, you can say this nested unordered list, which has ordered list as well as unordered list into it. So nesting kiya gaya hai list ka. I hope you know how the nesting is done of ordered and unordered list. So you have to write the HTML code for that. And that's it. So we'll just, next I would also like to introduce you to our score boosters of Vidyalankar for MHT CET. Now these score boosters are available for physics, chemistry, maths and biology. And these score boosters, they also have content which is summarized according to your formulas and shortcut methods. Okay, so they include solutions also for topics which are currently introduced in the current 2025 syllabus as well. So please make sure you get them. It will definitely help you for scoring well. Next is, we also have our crash courses for CET students 2025. Of course, they are available in both the modes, online as well as offline. Now, these courses, what do we provide? We have a complete syllabus coverage of what your CET course requires. Then we have our daily study plans. We have last minute revisions. Expert faculty is available with us. And daily test analysis is test is taken and analysis is done, which will help you to improvise in the course of your particular entrance. And of course, 20-mark full syllabus mock tests are taken. And as we say, be sure with us, this is definitely going to be a benefit to you. So lastly, I'll just conclude, students. Thank you so much and all the best for your exams. Please keep in mind all the keywords we discussed, all the tips I have given as per my knowledge. And it would definitely help you if you please attempt every answer accurately. Don't forget, attempting extra is not a harm. But if you attempt less, it's definitely going to deduct your marks. So please don't do that mistake and just be very confident. It's a theory paper. So you can, keywords, if are correctly implemented, and if you know that what is required in the answer, then you will definitely score well. And 200 marks subject. So don't take it lightly. Give some equal importance to that subject as well. Very, very all the best to all of you. All the best. Thank you.